Chef RPG has been my new obsession. If you're not familiar with Chef RPG, it's a restaurant life sim where, you guessed it, you play as a chef and manage your own restaurant. And I am constantly in awe by the stunning visuals and the intricacies of the gameplay, with some not as straightforward as I would have liked. And while you wouldn't exactly fail at this game, knowing what some features could do before starting my gameplay would have saved me some headaches in playing the game. So in this video, we'll not only go through what you can avoid, but also dive deeper on how you can make the most of your early gameplay as a beginner. And hopefully you won't have to go through the same mistakes I did. Just a gentle reminder that the game is in early access, and the game will have a lot more updates and balancing to come. And if there will be any outdated information in the future versions, I'll keep you posted in the comments. So without further ado, here are 7 beginner mistakes to avoid in Chef RPG. First up is not checking the accessories available, specifically the glow bracelet. When you traverse around town, you'll find the information center of sorts where you can ask about the town. This is actually available in most shops as well. And while they did mention that you can buy accessories at bits and pieces, at the start of the game, I didn't really care for it, especially since I was hoping to save my early money for more ingredients or even upgrades. So it took me a while to check it out, but when I did, I would have wished I had checked it out earlier because you can buy a glow bracelet here. It's a pretty common accessory, so if you don't see it for sale, try going back the next days. So why is this important? Well, because there are different levels of light in this game depending on the time of day. And it can get dark, especially when you're out and about foraging and hunting at the outskirts. This little light really helps. And I love how lively the town is as much as the next girl, but when it gets late, the town goes to sleep and turns off most of the lights. And your glow bracelet can help you navigate better as you try your best to get to your home as fast as you can. In case you didn't know, every 12 midnight, you'll start getting a reduction of 10 stamina every 30 minutes. And when your stamina reaches 0, you'll faint and be brought to the infirmary. Which comes to my second mistake. I keep fainting a lot. And no, I'm not proud of it. It's just that there are so many ways to faint in this game. Here's the thing. There's a fast travel to home skill that you can learn at one skill point. You can use it in your map, and it'll also give you what time you'll get there. Pretty handy, right? Yes it is. But unfortunately, it has its limits and apparently you can't use it late at night. So try your best in getting home to rest. Another time that I overlooked my stamina reaching 0 is when I was cooking in the restaurant. I forgot that every action in this game consumes stamina, even when your circle doesn't hit anything, so make sure every action counts. And keep tabs on your stamina even when it gets hectic in the kitchen. Another way that you can faint is when your health reaches 0. I know it's pretty obvious, but I just want to mention that depending on how you faint, it will take you different days to recover in the infirmary. When I got knocked out from hunting, it took me 2 days to recover. That's 2 wasted days. I guess I have the tendency to panic when hunting and somehow hit other animals as well. In Chef RPG, the animals aren't aggressive. They will run away whenever you get near and will only attack you when you hit them and they have at least about a third of their health. When their health gets low, they will run away from you. And as long as you don't leave the area, you can still find them around with low health. There was one time when I was hunting, I accidentally left the area and when I went back, I couldn't find my target anymore. I'm pretty sure I scarred the whole area, but let me know in the comments if I'm mistaken. That said, it can be a good strategy if you accidentally hit the bigger sized animal and you're trying to get away. Yes, there are bigger sized animals that are faster and hit harder. So make sure to prepare well before hunting one of those. Oh, and don't worry, they aren't aggressive as well. Unless you hit them, they won't charge at you. One thing to take note of is that even when you don't hit them but you accidentally block their path, you will get hit. So try your best not to panic, and if you find hunting tedious, you can always try your luck and buy from the market, although the stock changes daily. To prepare for a hunt or even just foraging or doing quests around town, you can buy consumables at various vending machines in the game. And this is one of my early game mistakes, which is not checking out and buying food from the vending machines. I missed out on the different food buffs early in the game. From my fainting to my hunting mistakes, these could be avoided had I brought some consumables from the vending machine. I had thought that they were probably some cheap items with minimal healing, and frankly, they are, but they are enough, at least for me. Aside from restoring stamina, my favorite would have to be the speed boost buff and the gathering boost buff, with the straightforward reason of increasing your walking speed and increasing the number of produce you gather. The game has a lot of vending machines stuck in every corner of the town, and some actually sell some ingredients, which is a lifesaver for me as it is technically another store. Since the stores in this game changes its stock daily, more places mean more chances to find a specific ingredient, which is a definite plus for me. Speaking of stores, don't forget to check the convenience store as well for ingredients and recipes. Moving on, I've mentioned earlier that my stamina reached 0 when I'm running my restaurant, and I could have avoided that had I hired more staff earlier. I was pretty stingy with my early money that I only hired the minimum staff required to run a restaurant. I had thought that the sign-in bonuses and hourly wages were pretty expensive, but honestly the cost will just break even in the first run of your restaurant, assuming that you have prepared for the ingredients and for a healthy amount of time. Mine's around 4 to 8 hours. In my second playthrough, I hired a lot more staff quite early with the pocket money you start the game with, and the amount did return right away. One of the skills that I aimed to learn right away was the staff training, especially since their food quality is much lower than yours. Also, if you opt for autocook, the quality of the dish you create will also come out much lower. I find the social ability pretty useful in this game, as it will not only help you with your staff, but also help in the supply chain of your ingredients. That said, it will always depend on your type of gameplay. I love that in Chef RPG, there's no right way to play the game. As you hire more staff, it will get more hectic, what with all the shouting and all the chat bubbles blocking your view, so make sure the layout of the appliances and even the seating is easy to navigate around. And speaking of appliances, next up on my list is not knowing the different counters. This could just be me, but it was pretty confusing. One of the early game main story quests required a countertop, and for the life of me, I kept buying a different one. So make sure to check the description carefully. There's the common appliance, or just appliance, a counter, then there's the art. For this quest, you will only need the actual counter. While the only thing I wasted was my time coming back and forth between the furniture shop and my restaurant, the 2 additional counters are still pretty useful. As you grow your restaurant, you will get more customers and more staff, which will require you to get more than one of the same appliance, especially if multiple recipes call for the same appliance. As for the art, decor is included under gratuity. You can see this at the end of the run or shift. So every little thing adds up, and at least I have an industrial decor now. In Chef RPG, there are 3 kinds of saves. One is the autosave whenever you exit the game, another is when you sleep, and the third is when you complete a story quest. You'll see this now when you load the game. However, when I was just starting out, I wasn't aware that the game would autosave when you exit. I thought you can manually save and have it as a different slot or file in your save profile, especially since there was a confirmation, game saved. But alas, when you exit the game, it will save and overwrite the manual save, which in this case is probably the autosave save file mentioned here. I unfortunately tried on some clothes and was planning on loading, but it was overridden when I exited the game. I didn't want to load from the beginning of the day, since I already did some good work at my restaurant, so I guess I have a full wardrobe now. Just letting you know that there is no manual save, at least for this version of Early Access. I mean, the text color is gray, so it should have been a red flag already. So don't be like me. Also, just a side note, the times you wake up in the infirmary does not trigger the autosave, which is worth considering when you try to experiment and maybe even save scum. And that's it for now. Comment a purple heart if you reached this part of the video. I just love games that let you play different styles of gameplay where there's no right way to play. And if you haven't seen it already, I list down my top games of 2023 where I share my gameplay experience with a focus on the unique gameplay mechanics and memorable narratives. So if you enjoy games like these, definitely check this out. Stay awesome, gamers!